What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 1 of Littleroot Laddering, where I take the team of the week from the podcast and I'm going to play it on the Sword and Shield ladder. So, for those of you who have not followed the podcast, make sure you go do that. We have a weekly segment on there where Carl and I talk about a team of the week where someone, a lucky someone gets their team featured on the show, where we do a critical breakdown of everything going on with it. So Littleroot Laddering is going to take that team and actually run it through the ladder on Sword and Shield and actually see how the team actually plays, because that's one of the things I've always said about playing with the teams, talking about the teams, is I want to see how they feel when they actually play. So if you're interested in having your team on the show, make sure you join this the Discord down in the show notes as always. And if you have a team for us to, that you want to see played, make sure you have a rental code for me. Makes things way simpler. So getting into today's episode, we have Slacking's Intimidate Cycling team that he posted a couple weeks back that seems like a perfect fit for episode 1. So he did say he made a couple changes. On the show, we talked about how it felt like we really wanted a flying type on the team. So he cut the Scizor for Gyarados, which is conveniently also another Intimidator, and deals with Rillaboom and Cinderace very well, he says. So really excited to actually play with this team. For a more in-depth breakdown, make sure you go check out the episode 20, I believe, is when we covered this team. Episode 19 or 20, I'm not 100% sure, but I will have that linked down in the show notes as well. So let's get into today's team. Notably, I have not played on the ladder in several months at this point, so we're starting from the absolute very bottom, and could not be more excited to actually play with the team. Slacking did say that he made Master Ball with this team, completely with this team, so really excited to jump in and actually get to play. Oh, let's see. Let's just throw it on random music. That'll be fine. You know, as I mentioned, it's been very long time since I've actually got to play on ladder because I haven't really put a team together. So really excited to see how we start. So we have Tyranitar, Excadrill, Indeedee Female, Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Charizard. Interesting. So we have Hard Sand, we have the terrain abilities with both Rillaboom and Indeedee, Urshifu, and Charizard as well. So really good team to actually start out against, because they have a lot of physical attackers that we're just going to be able to neuter very quickly. I believe we just want to lead on Meowstic and Cineroar here, be able to get a fake out off into whichever threat they lead. Hopefully it's not, if they lead Sand, then we can fake out plus whatever. Meowstic does get severely neutered by Indeedee, so probably want to switch that out fairly quickly. And I think we want to go Lapras for the sweeping in the back. Lapras lines up really well against everything really here. Might have a small problem with the Urshifu and the Indeedee, but should be fine. And I think let's bring Lux right here. So really just want to neuter their team as quickly as possible with Intimidating, and then just go into eventually setting up a Dynamax with the Lapras and sweeping this game. So we're going to see Charizard and Indeedee as a lead. Very interesting. So our Intimidate isn't going to do a whole lot here. Meowstic doesn't really like seeing this Indeedee out front. So I think the correct play is probably just immediately switch out the Meowstic just to keep it in the back and just switch into Lapras here. We could go for a parting shot into the Charizard just to get a little bit of get that special attack drop as well, which I don't hate. And then we can switch into... Right, what does Meowstic have? Nothing. We can set up a light screen. Yeah, let's do that. Let's parting shot into the Charizard, set up a light screen. You're gonna see the Protect from Charizard. Gonna get our light screen up. I'm anticipating probably just an Expanding Force here. Dazzling Gleam, okay. Not gonna do a whole lot thanks to that. Thanks to that light screen. And of course the Protect is gonna prevent the parting shot from going off. So I think actually at this point, I think I'm okay just staying in with the Incineroar. Like, the Indeedee isn't really threatening us. The Charizard doesn't really do anything against Incineroar. But I do want to get this Meowstic out into... I think we're going to go into Luxray here. Just so we can start snarling. Maybe get an Eerie Impulse into the Charizard. I think if we are able to eliminate the Charizard, I think our odds of winning this game get drastically better. So I think that's the primary goal at this point. Especially if we can get rid of the Indeedee as well, just so they aren't able to set up their Psychic Terrain again, so we can actually use our Fake Out and our Prankster abilities. That would be much better for us. So we are going to see that Dynamax come out from our opponent on the Charizard. I wonder if we're just going to go for a Wildfire into the Meowstic slot, or if we're going to go for Airstream. So we're going to see a Follow Me, which, that's fine. We're going to Darkest Lariat you anyway, so we did not see... we didn't see the... Oh, Luxray actually takes that fairly well, too, even with the light screen up. But we didn't see the Psychic Seed on the Indeedee, so most likely going to be Focus Sash here. It's not even Sash. I'm pretty sure that crit might have mattered. Luxray is going to lose another 6 of its HP, but we are going to get a little bit of recovery thanks to the leftovers. So the real question is what do our opponent bring in the back? Gonna see that Rillaboom come out, which is actually really, really good for us. Because Incineroar just gets a say in here, and we get to just deal with this Rillaboom before it's a problem. So I'm just going to go for a Flare Blitz into that Rillaboom, and I wonder how much a Grassy Glide does to this Lapras. Because I think it's actually correct to switch in Lapras here. It might have been correct to go for a Volt Switch into the Lapras, though, just to be safe. But that means that the Luxray is going to take this... You're going to see the Fake Out into the Lapras. Okay, interesting. We're going to see a Max Knuckle into the Incineroar. Which, of course, Incineroar is going to take like a champ. But now the Rillaboom is at +1. Charizard is still even on its special attack. And we're going to get this Flare Blitz into the Rillaboom. Should do pretty significant damage. It does pick up the KO. Really, really good for us. So now, I think we're in a position where we can go ahead and just Dynamax our Lapras here. And try to just deal with the well, we do have one more turn on our opponent's Dynamax here. Lapras is also going to take some damage from the Wildfire. But we are going to get a little bit of recovery thanks to the Grassy Surge. So we could try to stall out our opponent's Dynamax here, and then Lapras just sets up and does everything it needs to immediately. We're going to see the Urshifu come out here in the back. So we do have the Shell Armor on the Lapras. So we are going to be able to take a Wicked Blow or whatever move comes from the Urshifu, especially if we Dynamax. I think we're going to go just Parting Shot into the Urshifu, and I think we're going to go ahead and Dynamax here. Go for that Max Geyser into the Charizard. Try to pick up some really good damage on it, and we're going to get the weather changed over to rain for our Lapras, doing a little less damage from the Charizard's fire attacks, which probably won't matter when we have Lapras plus Incineroar out. And, like, we're just not weak to this Charizard. Oh, thank you, thank you. That just makes this way easier. So, the Urshifu most likely is holding that sash then. And we're able to live the wildfire as well. This Charizard's out of here. Just get out of here. We're +2. You're weak to this. Go home, buddy. It's interesting that Lapras is faster than our Incineroar. That's really good to note. That animation just makes me laugh every time I see it. So now that Urshifu is at -1, we're going to bring in the Luxray as well, put it at -2 attack. And I think it's correct to switch in the Incineroar here as well. Just to get as much of an attack drop on that thing as we possibly can. It might also just be correct to attack it because it is -1 special defense right now. And the Lapras is able to live, which is really, really good for us. But I think even if we do go to -3, I don't think there's a way this Urshifu doesn't KO us. So if we go into Incineroar, actually, I think we're going to Volt Switch into the Urshifu. I think we're going to Max Guard this turn. Just because if they do target down the Lapras, which they do, it just prevents them from actually doing anything. And we're going to be able to pick up quite a bit of damage, break the Focus Sash, and go back into Incineroar, get a Fake out, and then Lapras should be able to pick up the KO. Really, really sweet game. This is a really cool game. I think it fully utilizes like everything that this team wanted to be doing. Okay, unfortunately the Lapras does go down to Wildfire, but we can just bring back out the I guess just Luxray. Like, I don't see a reason not to go into Luxray here. Meowstic is just fine, chilling in the back. Get off one more Intimidate. Go for a Fake Out here. And go for a Volt Switch, and that should be enough to pick up the KO. Gonna see the Protect come out from the Urshifu. Well, okay. So, let's go for a Flare Blitz plus that Volt Switch into this Urshifu one more time, try to pick up the KO. Luxray down. We're going to see that Incineroar picking up. We are not picking up the KO on the Urshifu because of the rain, which is unfortunate, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'm going to see the grassy terrain expire. And we're going to bring out the Meowstic. And I think it's correct to... Yeah, we'll just go for a Flare Blitz plus a Thunder Wave here. The Thunder Wave should make it where Urshifu is slower than the Incineroar. Oh, Prankster. I forgot about Prankster not affecting Darks types. But it's okay because Close Combat is not enough to pick up the KO. So Flare Blitz should be able to just pick up the KO here then. Cool. Okay, so... little bit of a misplay there at the end, but ultimately it didn't affect us. But just because we didn't get punished for it doesn't mean that we can't learn from it. So after a little bit of a break, had to go eat dinner in the middle of a recording. So we're back, gonna play at least 2 more. My plan is to have at least 3 matches per episode. So first one went exceptionally well. I think we really got to showcase the team and everything it was trying to be doing. So we're going to hop into another battle here shortly and see if we can continue. See how well we can do today. So alright, so we have Golisopod, Hawlucha, Indeedee female again, Bisharp, Sableye, and Clefable. So the Bisharp looks to be the biggest problem for us, solely on the back of Defiant. Okay, we have Drain Punch, Mach Punch, and Fire Punch on this Conk. So I think Conk is easily going to be the way that we need to deal with this Bisharp. Do we have Speed Swap as well, or just Skill Swap? Okay, just Skill Swap. So I think it's correct. I kind of like Conk Meowstic up front, and then having Ensign and Gyarados in the back. Yeah, that looks great. Let's do that. We Iron Fist, I'm assuming. We are in fact Iron Fist. Okay. Yeah, this looks great. So really want to target down to the Bisharp, which I am fully anticipating them leading on here. I could see them leading Bisharp plus Indeedee. And if that's the case, then we're obviously going to target down the Bisharp and let the Indeedee do its thing. So we see the Bisharp plus Sableye up front. Interesting lead here. So we have a couple options here. I like going for Thunder Wave into... Oh no, we can't Thunder Wave. Unfortunately, our Meowstic is really just roadblocked here. So I think I'm going to switch into the Ensign. And I like going for the Drain Punch into the Bisharp. I don't think it's correct to immediately Dynamax this game, and that could be a mistake. I think it could be very well correct to go for the Dynamax here on turn 1. But I think it's correct to try to deal with the Sableye before, just because, like, Trick plus Eject button is kind of common on the ladder. So being able to deal with the Bisharp before it gets too... Okay, we are going to see the Ally switch from the Sableye, which is actually problematic because, well, unfortunately, we have a Mach Punch going into that slot, and that's not going to do a whole lot for us. So, unfortunately, the Drain Punch isn't gonna do anything into that. So I think it is correct to go for a Fake Out into the Bisharp this turn. Go for a Fire Punch into it as well. Like, if they're gonna play the Ally Switch games, then we're just gonna completely negate it and just just go for the fire punch here. Just go for the one that we know will hit. Because if they do ally switch, then like we get free damage. And if they don't, then well, the Bisharp ain't gonna look too pretty after this. Between the fake out. Okay, so this is gonna be a Dynamax on the Bisharp 99.99% of the time. Can't imagine it's not. It is. Okay. So unfortunately our fake out isn't gonna do really anything here for us. Just because they do get away with not flinching because of the Dynamax. But if they are sash, it is gonna break that sash, which could be important. We're gonna see that ally switch one more time. So this Sableye is gonna take this fire punch and probably not take it very well. So we're gonna see the Max Quake going into the Incineroar, which is gonna do an absolute ton of damage because they are +1. Which is this is really unfortunate because we don't really have a good switch in to the Bisharp now. Because like Meowstic can't do anything to it. And Gyarados is gonna give them another Intimidate. I think it's correct to bring out the Meowstic here, though. And, like, unfortunately, it's not really going to do anything, so it's just like, hey, look at Distraction. While we go for a Light Screen. And we're going to Dynamax and go for a Max Flare into the Bisharp one more time. Like, eventually they're not going to click Ally Switch. That's the hope, at least. But unfortunately, this Meowstic doesn't have any damaging attacks on it. It is pure support. And against exactly Sableye Bisharp, it can't do anything. But I don't want to give them another attack boost, so I think it's correct to leave the Gyarados in the back. You're gonna see the Max Guard coming in from the Bisharp this turn. Man, I think I really just misplayed this game starting on turn 1. Yeah, I like, especially with this burn now, I think we just really misplayed this game. Had we gone for the Dynamax on turn 1 and got the Max Flare into the Sableye on turn 1, I think we'd be looking at a very different situation. Like, unfortunately, I don't want to switch out. And, like, I think they're just going to click Ally Switch again. So, I think we're just pretty much done with this game already. And that's kind of one of the problems with this team is, like, how do we beat Defiant Mons? Maybe it's correct to just have the Lapras here instead of Conkeldurr, but I'm just not sure. So whereas game 1 got to really showcase the strengths of this team, I think this game has really showcased some of the weaknesses that this team can definitely have. But at the same time, you know I did not play this game 100% correctly. Yeah, like that Sableye is just going to be able to live at least one more hit and like stall out our Dynamax. I'm just going to concede this game, move on to the next one, because I don't see how we win this game at this point. The Bisharp is already +1, is going to be +2 when this Meowstic goes down. I just don't see a way that we're actually going to win this game. Like, they have the Sableye that's just able to actually stall us out from multiple points. So, the burn plus ally switching just really just played us. Had we gone for Dynamax plus Max Flare on turn 1, we could have probably dealt with the Sableye before it got to do anything. And at which point, I feel way better about where we are. Even though, like, we do give the Bisharp the +1 by going into Incin, I don't think it's incorrect to do that. Yeah, I think that game just kind of showcased one of the biggest weaknesses of this team is specifically Defiant Mons. Defiant or competitive Mons. So let's just jump into one more and see how much better we can do. So we have Silvally Sylveon, Mimikyu, Lycanroc, Dragapult, and Corviknight. So a couple interesting things we have going on here. This could be a weakness policy Dragapult with Quick Attack coming off of the Pixelate Sylveon. Most likely Normal Gym, Silvally, Explosion. But like the biggest weakness here is going to be the Corviknight. So if we can deal with the Corviknight early, then I think we're set up to be fine. So really, I like leading. What do I like here? I think I like Ensign Meowstic. Like, just go our stereotypical lead. And then have Luxray plus Lapras in the back. Does Lapras do anything that Conk doesn't? Or that Gyarados doesn't? Lapras can hit the Corviknight and not be pressured by it, whereas Conk is pretty weak to it. So I think it's correct to bring the Lapras here. Yeah, let's lock that in and go from here. So what do we see from our opponent? They're going to lead that Corviknight Dragapult lead. Interesting. So we're going to see Incineroar Meowstic come out. We're going to have Unnerve on Dragapult. Interesting. Like, that's not at all what I expected. Nor is it weak armor. I mean, mirror armor on the Corviknight. So we're going to go for a fake out into this Corviknight. And I like going for a yawn into the Dragapult. Yeah, let's do that. And then next turn. Okay, so we don't see them Dynamax here either. So we're gonna get that fake out off. There we go. If I could speak, gonna get that yawn into the Dragapult. We're gonna see a Phantom Force and the flinch on the Corviknight. Okay. So I'm feeling okay about our situation here. I think it's correct to go for a Darkest Lariat into the Dragapult. And I like switching Meowstic into Lapras. Even, like, of course, Dragonite is... I mean, the Dragapult is -1 at this point. But I don't want to lose... I don't want to go down to Sash instantly. So I think switching out there to Lapras to be able to take that hit is just fine. I'm going to see Power Trip. I actually don't know what that move does. Is a damage-dealing dark move introduced in Gen 7. Power Trip has variable power depending on the total amount of positive stat changes. Huh. Okay. So the Dragapult is now asleep, so I think it's correct to just go for a Max Flare into the Corviknight. I don't think there's any reason to Dynamax yet. If we do, we can Dynamax and go for the Resonance into the Dragapult to knock it out and get screen set up. I do like that. Just to try to prevent as much damage coming off from this Corviknight as possible. Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen Power Trip, so I can't say I knew what it did. Interestingly, Incineroar can get it through breeding, which I did not know. Dragapult is going to stay asleep this turn, which is pretty good for us. Gonna see the Peck into the Lapras. I am really confused about what our opponent is doing. This does not seem ideal whatsoever. So we are going to get that knockout on the Dragapult, and we are going to get this Flare Blitz into the Corviknight. More importantly, we did get the Dragapult knocked out, so we are going to be able to eat our berry, which we're probably going to need to this turn, just from how much damage we just did. Yeah, nowhere near it. I don't know what I'm worried about. So, opponent has a little less than ideal team, it looks like. But we are going to see that Sylveon and the Silvally coming out. So what type is this Silvally? Steel. Well, you just get beat up by this Incineroar. And we're just going to go for a Max Geyser into this Sylveon. Try to just do as much damage as we possibly can here. So we're going to see the Dynamax, most likely going to be the Silvally. I believe that's what the Pokeball indicates. That's the only ball. There's that, and then there's the Cherish Ball, I think was the event ball for the shiny Silvally in Gen 7. I can't remember exactly what ball that is. I'm gonna see X-Scissor going into the Incineroar. We're going to see the Max Overgrowth going into the Lapras, which is going to trigger our policy and nowhere near knock us out. So, if the Sylveon wasn't gone before, it definitely is after this weakness policy. So this is kind of the downside of playing in lower tiers for some of these videos, because we're going to see teams that are very much less than ideal. And that's unfortunate, because it's weird to make coverage for these kind of games, because like you just saw a Peck from a Corviknight and a Power Trip from a Corviknight. Like these aren't moves that you normally see. So obviously this is someone who's just starting out. That's a really bulky Sylveon. Interesting. So like this is obviously someone who's just playing online just because, hey, these are Pokemon I have, I want to play. And at the same time, it's like, well, you know, we're trying to show off a really sweet, interesting team that's actually competitive, and it's hard to do that against less than competitive teams. Do I think that's a problem? No. Am I gonna play the ladder for every episode of this game until, you know, until I'm in Master Ball? Yeah, probably. Am I gonna hit Master Ball? I don't know. I'm really bad. So I'm going to see the Max Phantasm go into the Lapras. Going to drop our defense. Doesn't really matter because we have the Aurora Veil up. Not quite in range to get our berry. But Max Geyser in the rain is going to do just enough to knock out the Sylveon. So, going to move to 2-0. I think we got time for one more today. You all talked me into it. We can play one more. Hopefully end on a high note, on a little more competitive team. I got a Comet Shard. Neat. See if we can hit rank 2 today. I believe Master Ball is 12, 13, 11. I'm not sure. I've never actually been to Master Ball, just because I haven't ever spent enough time to actually grind for it. So, gonna actually try this month and see what we can do playing everyone's team. So this is a looks like a series 1 rain team with Urshifu. We have Pelipper, Urshifu, Ludicolo, Vaporeon, Togedemaru, and Jolteon. Interesting. So if they're setting rain, I really like Lapras, and I really like Luxray. Unfortunately, they have this Togedemaru, which is going to Lightning Rod all of our attacks away. I also kind of like Conk. Conk is really good against the Urshifu. I'm assuming this is Dark Urshifu. It's good against the Togedemaru as well. And we have Thunder Punch, so we can deal with Vaporeon and Pelipper. What do we think about, like, Gyarados Luxray as a lead? With Lapras and Conk in the back. This just puts on a lot of pressure on our opponent immediately. Like, if they lead on one of the electrics, then we can just, like, switch Gyarados out. Yeah, let's try this. I don't particularly like Incineroar going against, you know, the team with at least 3 water types and Urshifu. But, like, it deals with exactly the Togedemaru, so I think it's fine to leave it home. And, like, the Meowstic doesn't particularly line up well against anything here as well. So we're going to see Pelipper Togedemaru as a lead. So we're going to get that double Intimidate off on turn 1. And I'm assuming the Gyarados is faster than Luxray, but I'm not 100% sure. So something I need to check real quick. But this Togedemaru is not going to like this waterfall coming from Gyarados. Oh yeah, we are way faster. Way faster. Okay. So we can go for a waterfall into that Togedemaru. We can go for a Snarl to break the sash on either the Pelipper or the Togedemaru. I'm assuming it's on the Pelipper. Oh yeah, Togedemaru just goes down like it was made from paper mache. We are going to get that Snarl off into the Pelipper. Going to break that sash. Going to do pretty significant damage as well, and more importantly, getting that special attack drop. Going to go for the Hurricane into the Luxray. Of course, that is resisted. And unfortunately, they do get the confusion off, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. This just lines up for Gyarados really to just take over this game immediately on turn 1. So depending on what our opponent does here, we can Dynamax the Gyarados and go for a Max Airstream. If it's Ludicolo or Urshifu, I think that's exactly what we're going to be doing. I see no reason not to just go for the Max Airstream into this Urshifu. And I think I want to switch into Lapras here as well. I believe... I should have probably checked, but I'm pretty sure that's Dark Urshifu. I couldn't... I know, obviously, they have a difference in game, but I couldn't actually tell you what each of them look like. And that's saying something because, you know, I have the Water Urshifu, and in Draft League, I have the Dark Urshifu, but I could not tell you the difference. I couldn't actually tell you the difference between the two and how they stand. So we are going to see that Dynamax going from the Gyarados. Do we see the Dynamax from our opponent as well? That is important to know. No, we don't. So we're going to get that Max Airstream into the Urshifu. See, this is one of the problems with their team, is they just have so many mons that really want to hold the Focus Sash, and unfortunately only one of them can. Like, you have the Urshifu, you have the Pelipper, you have the Togedemaru. All of these really want to hold Focus Sash, and only one of them can. And I think Pelipper is more inclined to be holding it than anything else on their team, just so that they are able to potentially set the weather multiple times. So we're going to see that Ludicolo come out, which we may actually outspeed at this point. Probably not, but we are just going to go for the Max Airstream into it. We're going to go for the Freeze Dry into it as well. Just double into it. Most likely going to see the Dynamax come out from the Ludicolo this turn. And we do see that Dynamax from the Ludicolo. I can't imagine this is Pelipper. I don't know why you would ever Dynamax a Pelipper, but... yeah. So, we are going to get this max airstream off. At most, they're going to be able to KO exactly one. Most likely the Lapras, if they are able to KO anything. But we're just so bulky, I don't see that actually being a problem. And we are actually faster, so just going to instantly pick up the KO. This just showcases you the power of Gyarados and like how much it can actually do when left unchecked. Now, like, obviously we got the Intimidate off on turn 1, but imagine if this was Moxie here and we were just like +3 because Gyarados just single-handedly answered everything. Like, it doesn't matter what your opponent has in the back at that point, they're just done. Gonna see the Freeze Dry, go into the Pelipper, gonna get that 4 times effective and knock it out as well. So really, really good games today. We had that the one really bad game from us, but ultimately, I think it really showcased what the team can do, and I'm really excited to play this for the next 2 episodes as well. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, and ring the bell for notifications for when new stuff goes live. Make sure you always go check out our Twitter information. There's at LR Lessons, myself at Cardinal25, and Carl, my fantastic co-host of the podcast, at musical_33. As we mentioned at the top of the show, these teams are going to be coming directly from the Discord and our team of the week, which we cover each week on the podcast. So if you're interested in seeing your team played on the show, make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you go drop a team off in the team of the week section. So notably, it is way easier, and personally I'm way more likely to actually do this if we have teams that have rental codes, because it just saves me so much time from not having to build the team myself. So thank you all very much. Have a fantastic day. We'll be back here in a couple days for another episode of Littleroot Laddering. Have a good one. Peace.